Hey, my name is Arturo Gambini, and here's a picture of the book Goal Giver by B. Bird. Keep watching, and I'll reveal to you how a simple secret contained within the pages of this book has allowed me to go from zero to $500,000 a month with my coaching business. First, let's just cut to the chase. If you're someone who has a skill in one of these three main categories, health, wealth, or relationship, and you want to sell your knowledge for at least $10,000 per client, the Bait Funnel system will help you package your knowledge into a high-ticket offer. Get clients for it organically and show you how to sell it for at least $10,000 per client. If you ever seen these 19-year-old online gurus making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month selling their courses and coaching, and you have thought to yourself, how in the world are these guys doing it? I want the same result. Then this just might be the most important video you'll ever watch. And it's guaranteed. If you implement this and it doesn't get you at least $10,000 in the first 90 days, you'll get your money back. Now look, if I were someone who wanted to tap into the $6 trillion coaching industry and achieve true financial freedom, and you just told me what I just told you, I will be like, where do I sign up? As long as I knew that it actually worked and that I understood how it worked, which is what I'm going to show you in this video. First off, you're probably thinking, this sounds like a bunch of buzzwords, this is BS, and how do I even know this is real? You'll know it's real by looking at all the testimonials below from this video from people just like you. You're going to see Jeff, who went from charging people $250 to $12,500 per client to now making over $85,000 a month and being contracted and flown by companies to consult about their brand all over the United States. You're going to see Tina, who was living at a mobile home, to making her first $10,000 the first day after working with me. You're going to see Caesar, who made $75,000 within 14 days, and dozens of others achieving amazing results. So first and foremost, this is real and it's working. And people just like you from various backgrounds are taking their knowledge and turning it into extremely profitable business. And look, if that's enough for you and you just want to hop on a quick strategy call and learn exactly how the Bait Funnel works, and for you to see if it will be a good fit, just select the time below and let's chat. Keep in mind that we have a limited number of call spots available each month. And if you're interested, take action right now and book your free call. Now, if you want to see how this works and why this works, I'm going to explain it to you in the rest of this video. My goal for this presentation is to show you that the fastest and easiest ways to launch and scale your high-ticket coaching business is to use the Bait Funnel. So let me tell you why the Bait Funnel works so well and people are able to sell their high-ticket offer for $10,000 plus using it, and why we're able to give you such a bold guarantee. First, let me answer the questions probably on your mind right now. Why should I listen to you? My name is Arturo Gambini, and I got to $500,000 per month in my online coaching business without ever running ads. I'm a Marine veteran. I have worked closely with Dan Pena. I'm an author, international speaker, and real estate investor. Before I discovered this system that I'm about to share with you, I had a well-paying gig flipping houses and doing real estate investing. Some of my friends were doing Amazon, others were doing trading, others were doing personal training, but we couldn't figure out how to get it to the masses and get paid what we were worth. I was in real estate for 5 years before I got into coaching. I started by fixing and flipping, buying and holding houses, doing Airbnb, but I knew there was a faster way to make money. Real estate, in all honesty, was like a kindergarten for adults. You had to make sure that workers and contractors were not drinking at the work site, making sure they were not doing drugs, and making sure they were actually working. I knew there was something else I could do in order to not be so stressed out all the time. I saw Tony Robbins speaking where he presented a chart showing that young adults now prefer self-education online over traditional education. The coaching industry was projected to be a $1 trillion industry by 2024, but it actually became a $1 trillion industry in 2021, 3 years before Tony Robbins predicted it, and that's when I became interested in coaching. What most people do is take their money from their business and dump it into the real estate investments. So that's what I decided to do. I was in real estate for 6 years, and I had Airbnb, rentals, I was fixing and flipping. I started posting my flips and everything I was doing, and people started to ask questions. So I kept giving advice on how to buy, where to buy, which are the best markets to buy, because it had become second nature to me. The problem was I didn't have a structure. I didn't know how to get these people to pay me money or how to get on the phone with them and charge the correct price. So that's when I started hiring mentors and coaches who had their own strategy but still felt like there was something missing. In order to become a successful coach, I learned from people like Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. I even flew to Scotland twice to meet billionaire Dan Pena, where I stayed at his castle for a week and I learned a lot from. After hiring so many coaches, I learned how to literally approach clients and actually get my worth. And because I listened, I had exceptional results quickly. My main desire was to live well, go shopping without looking at the price tag, go out to eat without seeing the price on the menu. I wanted to take care of my family when we all went out, have a nice house, a fast car, and be young and live my life on my own terms, the way I wanted it to be. I knew school wasn't for me, even though I did great. I just knew it would take years, if not decades, and I still wouldn't have what I wanted. Real estate is good money, but definitely not a business where you can run up to $1-2 million in a short term. I also noticed that everyone in real estate don't tell you they got into real estate after making money in a different business. That's how they're able to buy hundreds of houses at once. That's how they're able to afford apartment buildings. I was struggling with the fact that I would see everybody winning at a massive level except me. I will see everyone going on vacation except me. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I needed guidance. I needed a footprints to follow to become financially free. I realized I needed a coach that I can work with one-on-one and that will teach me directly and tell me what steps to go from zero to a few grand to multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. In high school, I was the Spanish kid that had a single mother that always worked, the one that wasn't good in sports and always got in trouble, the one that hung around with people that were up to no good. After high school, I got married to my high school sweetheart, as people call it. After getting married a few months later, she cheated on me. I felt useless. I was ashamed of being a man. I felt like a failure, powerless. I was working 24/7 trying to support my wife, but it was already too late. Things didn't work out. The problem with the real estate is that it's slow money coming in. People won't tell you that you're cashing in $500 a month, 5 to 6 months down the line, the toilet stops working. And you have to spend $250 on a new toilet. And when your tenant leaves, you have $2,000 to $3,000 in repairs, patching holes, fixing the floors, painting the walls, so the money made in that year is literally gone by the time you get the house. I got into coaching by accident, by helping other people. I had already heard Tony Robbins in 2017 saying that the coaching industry is the fastest growing industry in the US and that by 2024 it will be $1 trillion industry. And it required very little overhead to get started, and there were huge profits to be made. It was a massively growing industry, the profit margins were huge, startup costs were almost zero, and you could get customers organically without spending money on ads. Plus, it was very safe and not risky, because you could get started with zero capital, and you could even start it initially as a side hustle and do it on top of your current business, whether that's Amazon FBA, Airbnb, media buying, fitness, relationship coaching, etc. That's when it clicked. I realized that coaching was one of the best businesses to get into. And I thought to myself, if I don't get into coaching, I'm going to miss out on one of the biggest opportunities of my life to create wealth and freedom for myself, and also to help others. And I also knew it was better than most businesses because I come from the real estate realm, where I average $150,000 every 3 to 4 months depending on the rehab. Great start, right? But a lot of headaches, dealing with contractors, managing, making sure they didn't drink on the site or do drugs. I also had a store at the mall with huge overhead, locked in a contract for a year, paying high rent and barely making it. I know from experience that brick and mortar is not where it's at. I have friends that own multiple restaurants and they're always complaining that they make $20,000 to $30,000 per restaurant and it's a slaving job. Huge overhead and you don't see return on investment for years and you need a lot of money to start. After spending hundreds of thousands to attend different seminars and hiring coaches and mentors, I put everything that I had learned together into a system. A very unique formula that required no ad spend or advertising skills to get started, since it was all organic. What is different about this system is that I didn't get on the phone with people that were just looking for free information or who were just not ready to buy. I only wanted to help those who wanted to help themselves, and I knew those who paid attention. So I developed a process that streamlined from client acquisition to closing, without crazy overhead and by literally simply catering to clients' needs, by developing an offer where they will literally feel stupid if they said no. After I began using the system, I made $30,000 within my first month with an overhead of $197 to host my course. There were no other expenses. No ad spend, no media buying fees, no other software fee. This is when I realized that I needed to switch over from real estate to high-ticket coaching full-time. High-ticket coaching was the fastest and easiest money I have made with very little overhead, and I was actually putting money into people's pockets, which felt amazing. That's when I realized the secret to successfully selling high-ticket was doing organic client acquisition in a very specific way, using something that I like to call the bait funnel. The reason this works is thanks to the powerful psychological know, like, and trust factor. which states that people are much more likely to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. Remember, in the beginning of this video, I talked about the book Goal Giver by Bob Burg and how a secret inside these pages allowed me to go from $0 to $500,000 per month in my coaching business. Well, Bob invented the concept know, like, and trust factor, which is what the bait funnel is based upon. You're not going out there sending cold emails or running cold advertisement to people who have no idea who you are, which is why all of these methods can be extremely expensive and difficult to get to work. Instead, you're creating specific type of content that gets people to know, like, and trust you, and then getting them into calls and converting them into high-ticket sales. And to emphasize, not just any kind of book calls, but book calls with people who already know, like, and trust you. This makes your close rates much more higher compared to paid ads or any other type of call outreach. I have literally tried everything that comes to organic client attraction, and this is the best way I have come across to get book calls and to convert them into high-ticket sales at a high rate. I didn't need to spend tens of thousands into advertising. All I needed to do is create the right type of content, engage people in the right way so that those conversations converted into book calls, and then sell them the right way so that the book calls can turn into paying high-ticket clients. All these things I learned from my mentors, which I put together into one system. After hitting my first $30,000 a month using the system, I put a plan in place to get to my ultimate goal, which was $500,000 a month. I hired a virtual assistant who helped me with this setup appointments and a closer to close those appointments, so I was mostly removed from the process. But then I hit another wall. My setters and closers started to become lazy. They were making great money, which is why they started to sit back and become lazy. I realized I needed to fine-tune their payment and commission structure so I could get them to produce again. I listened to my mentor's advice and I implemented what I learned, which was to hire at least 2 people for the position so that they will compete with each other and actually produce. And then the one that underperformed, I would fire that team member so that the other one will know that his job is on the line as well if he doesn't produce. After 15 months, I grew this process with only 3 employees to over $500,000 a month. After I cracked the code on this from start to finish, I started coaching others on how to do the exact same, which is why you're watching this presentation today. After all these systems in place, now I'm able to have the time I want. I love to travel, so I've been to Ibiza, Spain, Colombia, Italy, Kosovo, Albania, Peru, and many more other countries. I'm able to travel when I want. As long as there's internet, there's no issues for me. I now see myself more valuable because I'm helping people actually create a coaching program and deliver it to the masses, which in return helps others. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover in the next 10 minutes. Secret number 1, how to create a high-ticket program and charge $10,000 for it. Secret number 2, how to crush it with organic traffic and why you don't need an existing brand to make this work. And secret number 3, how to get your first $10,000 sale in 90 days. Most people think that they need to be a master at their craft in order to create and sell a high-ticket coaching program. The reality is that you only need to be 2 to 3 steps ahead of your prospect to be able to do it. Of course, you need to have skills so that you can provide value, but don't get caught into the trap of thinking you're not ready because you're not a master yet. When it comes to creating your coaching program, realize that you don't have to create the entire thing before you start selling it. What you can do is get your first client and just have an outline of what will be included in the program, and then record your coaching sessions with that first client. This way you'll use your first client to create the coaching program as you go, and then later on you can add more content to it. But initially, build it while you're coaching your first client. Now, what comes to charging $10,000 for your high-ticket program? Most people think that nobody will pay that amount of money for it, which is exactly what I thought before getting my first $10,000 sale. Let me tell you a quick story about this. Jeff, for instance, who is a branding consultant, he came to me when he was selling a $250 product, which he's now selling the same exact product for over $15,000. He did not believe that he could charge $15,000 for it. His problem was he was selling it to the wrong people. Not only was he undervaluing himself, but he was also overworking and stressed out because most of these people were the wrong target for him. After I got him to increase the price and sell it to the right audience, he was able to sell it for $15,000. Right now, Jeff moved out of Connecticut and now lives in a penthouse in the heart of Miami. He's currently making $50,000 to $80,000 a month, all organically, using the bait funnel. Another example to prove this point is Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone has literally sold the same product for $100,000 and $1,000. All he changed was his target. He taught how to sell cars and how to deal with objections. Well, when he sold it to individuals, he sold it for $1,000. When he sold it to corporations like Cadillac of Tampa, he sold it for $100,000. Why? Well, because he knew that a team of 10 salespeople will increase their sales by an average of 20 to 35%. Therefore, he's bringing more money to the car company, which he can justify his $100,000 price. Again, it comes down to the offer and the value. Now, what's the process for actually being able to charge $10,000 for an offer, even if you're not a master at your craft? What the mentors that I have hired taught me is that you need to first attract the right type of people with the right type of content. Only get on the phone with people who like and trust you. Vet out people who are ready to buy by using a specific process and have the right offer. This is how I've been able to sell my coaching for $10,000, and this is how the people I have taught this to have been able to do it. Now you're probably thinking people won't pay $10,000 for my offer. Here's the thing, getting high ticket sales is easy when you know how to position the price and the value properly, and when you're only selling it to people who know, like, and trust you. And you might also be thinking, this is not for me. That's way too hard to make work. If you look around online, you'll see 19-year-old gurus making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month selling their high-ticket programs. And I myself have taught many of these young gurus, and I am friends with young entrepreneurs making $250 to $1.5 million per month selling high-ticket. If a 19-year-old can do it, so can you, trust me. Secret number 2, how to crush it with organic traffic and why you don't need an existing brand to make this work. The reason why you shouldn't start with paid traffic is simple. You first need to validate your offer with organic traffic and figure out who your avatar really is. Otherwise, you can burn through tens of thousands of dollars testing with advertising. For example, a good friend of mine is a 33-year-old Middle Eastern man. His avatar are 38 to 44-year-old African American woman. Makes no sense, right? The truth is, you'll never know who's going to resonate with you at the beginning. This is why at the beginning it is very important to start with organic before you start burning your money with advertising. Also, many people think that they need to have a huge following to make organic work. The reality is that you don't. You'll get the people that you need by posting the right type of content. When you post the right type of content, you can easily get hundreds and even thousands of views that you can start turning into book calls. Let's say if you or UBA message 100 people per day for 5 days, that's 500 people. Let's say you have a 5% conversion rate to calls. That's 25 calls. Do you think you can close one out of those qualified calls? Do you think you can get one of those qualified prospects to buy your offer? Now, you might still be thinking, isn't organic super difficult? Organic is simple. And all you need to do is post content about what you already know and then engage with the people who have engaged with your content. And even better, if you don't like posting, you can hire a virtual assistant to post for you for $300 to $500 a month. And you might be nervous about posting content and putting yourself out there. Totally get that. I was nervous initially too. But you know what happens? After I had posted about 10 to 15 pieces of content, all of the nervousness went away because I got used to it. The same thing will happen to you. Think about it. It's the same thing as talking to the opposite sex. If you only talk to guys, girls, once a year, you will feel nervous doing it. But if you do this 10 times a week, you'll get used to it. Same principle applies to content. Secret number 3. How to get your first $10,000 sale in 90 days. After hearing all of this, you might still be wondering, Arturo, doing all of this, creating the program, creating the content, and starting to get the sales will take forever. The reality is that you can make this work very quickly. Let me tell you a quick story. It took me 30 days to create my program and make my first sale before the program was even completed. This is mostly because you can build the program while helping the client, like we already covered previously. Now, I'm not saying that you will have your first high-ticket sale in 30 days from starting, but here's how the timeline typically looks like. Here's the math on this. Creating a high-ticket program takes 30 days. Creating content takes 5 to 10 minutes per day. Getting around 100 conversations started takes about 10 days. Closing someone takes about 45 to an hour. Total time to get your first sale can happen within 90 90 days or less. When I discussed to Jeff that his skill was worth high ticket and that he was undervaluing himself, it took him 2 weeks to make his first high ticket sale. And the only reason it took him 2 weeks is because he will only take off while driving from appointment to appointment at his old job where he was selling windows. So let me ask you a question. If you follow what I showed you in secret number 1 and used it to create your $10,000 high ticket offer, and then use secret number 2, the Bay funnel, to get free organic traffic for it, and then your secret number 3, get your first $10,000 sale in 90 days. Do you think you can make this work when even 19-year-olds around the world are doing it, crushing it, and making more than the top CEOs of big companies? Let me ask you a question. Are you excited what we just talked about? If all this sounds interesting to you, just book a free call below this video. And when people do book calls with us and join the program, they get results. And this call is not a high pressure sales call. All it is a call explaining to you how the system works. And then we'll talk about if it will be a good fit for you and your goals. And if it's a good fit, you're going to get the result you're looking for, or you'll get your money back. Guaranteed. So there's zero risk for you. And if you're not a good fit for some reason, we'll point you to the right direction, so you'll have the next steps no matter what. So if that sounds good to you, click the button below and book the call. Lastly, I would just like to say, this is truly a rare opportunity to finally achieve your financial goals and create true freedom in your life. And the way I see it, you have 2 options here. First, you can forget about everything I told you today. You can go back to doing whatever you have been doing, and you will get what you always got it. And let's face it, if you were happy with your current situation, you wouldn't be listening to this message right now. But you're listening to this message, and that tells me you're ready for a change. If that's true, then doing nothing makes 0 sense. You have got to take action. Your second option is simple. You can bite the bullet and just accept to truly make this work in the fastest time possible and to avoid all the mistakes that hold so many people back, that it just makes complete logical sense to get a proven roadmap from someone who has already gotten where you want to be, and from someone who has coached others to successfully do the same. And avoid the headache, frustration, being stuck where you are, not being happy with your current situation and your bank account, by going at it alone and simply hoping and praying you'll make it to the promised land. To get started, all you have to do is simply click the link below this video right now and schedule a call to find out if you qualify. So if you're ready to finally build the lifestyle and financial freedom you're looking for, click the button below this video now, and I'll speak to you soon.